The rejection and initiative. Admiral Helena Vasquez stood rigid before the Galactic Assembly Council, her face betraying none of the emotions churning within her. Around the vast chamber, representatives of over 300 advanced civilizations looked down upon her from their elevated platforms, some with sympathy, others with thinly veiled contempt. The Grand Arbiter, a towering six-limbed Exalaxian with iridescent scales, raised his central appendage for silence. After careful consideration of Earth's petition for membership, this assembly has reached its decision. Helena already knew the verdict from the subtle shift in the chamber's atmosphere. The diplomatic channels had been buzzing for weeks about humanity's aggressive expansion tendencies and technological unpredictability. The petition is denied, the Arbiter announced, his voice resonating through quantum translators across the chamber. Earth remains classified as a developing civilization, restricted from certain technological exchanges and resource-rich sectors. Helena maintained her composure, even as Ambassador Chen beside her tightened his grip on the datapad, containing 5 years of careful diplomatic work. "May the Council elaborate on its reasoning?" she asked, her voice steady. "Certainly." The Arbiter gestured to a Medusan representative, who activated a holographic display. "Humanity has demonstrated concerning patterns," the Medusan began, her tentacled head swaying gently. "Your species advanced from primitive spaceflight to gravitational manipulation in merely 2 centuries, an unprecedented pace that suggests dangerous instability." Images flashed through the display. Earth's orbital habitats, the Mars terraforming project, the Jupiter mining operations. Furthermore, continued a draconian delegate, his leathery wings folded tightly against his back, "your cultural documentation contains thousands of scenarios depicting violent conquest of other species. Your literature, your entertainment, they reveal your true nature." Helena resisted the urge to laugh. They were being denied membership because humanity enjoyed science fiction. "We will reconsider Earth's petition in 100 standard cycles," the Arbiter concluded. "Until then, you will maintain your current development restrictions. 100 cycles, nearly 200 Earth years." "The Assembly has spoken," the Arbiter intoned, striking his staff against the floor. "This matter is closed." As Helena and Chen were escorted from the chamber, she received a priority message on her neural implant. It was from Admiral Zhu, Earth Defense Command. "They've made a critical error. Operation Ascension is now authorized." 3 months later, deep beneath the Antarctic ice shelf, Helena stood before the assembled leadership of Earth's unified government. The chamber, carved from the ancient ice and reinforced with carbon nanotubes, hummed with tension. "The Assembly's rejection has confirmed what our intelligence suggested for years," Helena announced, projecting data across the crystalline walls. "They fear us, not for what we've done, but for what we might become." President Okafor nodded grimly. "Their technology exchange restrictions weren't for our protection. They were to keep us contained." Dr. Fatima Rahman, head of Earth's scientific collective, stepped forward. "We've analyzed the quantum signatures from assembly ships. Their technological edge is significant, but not insurmountable. Their advantage comes from cooperation, not innovation. And we now know why," Chen added. "Our deep cover assets have confirmed that nearly 40 other spacefaring civilizations have been similarly rejected in the past millennium. The Assembly maintains power by preventing competition." Helena activated a detailed star map. "We've identified 17 of these rejected civilizations within reasonable contact range. Each possesses unique technologies and resources the Assembly has deliberately kept separate." President Okafor's eyes narrowed. "You're proposing an alliance of outcasts." "I'm proposing something more," Helena replied. "An alternative to the Assembly's stagnant order. Operation Ascension isn't just about advancing humanity. It's about creating a new paradigm of interstellar cooperation." Dr. Rahman brought up schematics for a device unlike anything Earth had produced before. "This is the Quantum Entanglement Communicator. Based on principles we glimpsed from assembly technology, but developed in ways they never attempted. With this, Helena continued, we can establish instantaneous communication across vast distances without using the assembly's monitored relay network. And they won't see it coming, Chen added. They expect us to sulk for decades before trying again through official channels. The assembled leaders studied the proposal in silence. What Helena was suggesting wasn't just technological development. It was a fundamental challenge to the galactic status quo. The financial requirements will be enormous, noted the economic director. We'll need to divert resources from the Mars project and the orbital habitats. And secrecy is paramount, added the intelligence director. The assembly has observers throughout our system. President Okafor stood slowly, her decision visible in her posture. We've spent generations looking to the stars, dreaming of joining a galactic community as equals. Now we know that was never going to happen, not on their terms. She walked to the center of the chamber, her voice hardening with resolve. Approve Operation Ascension. Full funding, highest secrecy. If the assembly won't accept us as members, they'll eventually have to deal with us as rivals. The Nyx was Earth's first true stealth vessel, its hull composed of metamaterials that absorbed rather than reflected sensor pulses. As Commander James Ortega guided it through the scattered debris of the Kuiper Belt, he reflected on how rapidly Earth had advanced since the assembly's rejection 2 years ago. Approaching contact coordinates, his second officer reported. Still no sign of the Valoran vessel. They're here, James replied confidently. Their cloaking technology is just better than our detection systems. As if responding to his words, space seemed to ripple before them, revealing a ship of organic curves and pulsing bioluminescent patterns. The Valorans, one of the first rejected species to respond to Earth's secret overtures. Fascinating design, murmured Dr. Sado, the xenobiologist aboard. Their technology appears to be biologically integrated rather than mechanically constructed. Communication Officer Park's console chimed. They're hailing us, audio and visual. The view screen activated, revealing a being with golden scaled skin and 4 arms, seated within what appeared to be a living console that responded to its touch. Greetings, Earth vessel. The Valoran spoke, its voice melodious even through translation. I am Harmonious Architect Talveth. We received your quantum message with great interest. James stepped forward. Commander James Ortega, Earth Defense Force. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, Architect Talveth. Your proposal was unexpected, replied Talveth. The Assembly rejected our civilization 300 cycles ago. We had resigned ourselves to isolation. The Assembly maintains power by keeping advanced civilizations separated, James explained. We're proposing to change that paradigm. Talveth's eyes, multifaceted like a dragonfly's, seemed to shimmer with interest. Your quantum entanglement communicator. Our scientists analyzed the principles you shared. It's remarkable, different from anything we've developed. That's exactly our point, James said. Each rejected civilization has developed unique approaches to science and technology. The Assembly fears what might happen if those approaches were combined. You're suggesting more than trading technologies. Talveth observed shrewdly. You're proposing an alliance. We're proposing the first step toward a new interstellar order, James confirmed. One based on mutual advancement rather than controlled stagnation. Talveth was silent for a long moment, communing with its living ship in ways the humans couldn't perceive. Finally, it spoke again. The Valoran Communion has long memories, Commander. We remember how the Assembly used our biological technology, then deemed us potentially destabilizing when we developed applications they hadn't considered. James nodded. Earth was rejected because we developed technology too quickly and unpredictably. They call it dangerous. We call it innovation. What guarantees do we have that humans won't simply use our technologies to dominate as the Assembly does? Talveth asked. A fair question. One James had been authorized to answer completely honestly. None, he said bluntly, except our proposal itself. We're not asking you to submit to Earth. We're inviting you to help build something new, where all participating civilizations advance together. Talveth made a sound that the translators interpreted as laughter. Honesty. How refreshing. Its body pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. The communion authorizes a preliminary exchange. We will share our biotechnology research. In return, we wish to study your quantum entanglement principles. James felt a surge of triumph, but kept his expression measured. We welcome this first step, Architect. With your permission, we'll transmit coordinates for a more secure meeting location. Agreed, Talveth responded. And Commander, we are not the only rejected civilization watching Earth's bold moves with interest. As the Valoran ship faded back into its perfect cloak, James turned to his crew with a smile. 1 down. 16 more to go. The Ascension Initiative had begun. The new order rises. 10 years after the Assembly's rejection, the Antarctic Command Center had transformed from a simple meeting room into the nerve center of humanity's greatest endeavor. Admiral Helena Vasquez, now carrying the additional title of Alliance Coordinator, studied the holographic display showing vessels from 11 different species converging near the outer edge of Sol system. The Cetan delegation has confirmed attendance, reported her aide. That makes all 17 founding members present for the summit. Helena nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. And Assembly surveillance. Still focused on our conventional development. The Mars terraforming project and Jupiter mining operations continue to provide excellent distraction. President Okafor, serving her 3rd term specifically to oversee the Ascension Initiative, joined Helena at the display. 10 years, she mused. When we started, I wondered if I'd live to see any meaningful progress. Instead, we're about to formally establish the Alliance, Helena replied. A new power in the galaxy, formed right under the Assembly censors. The technologies developed through collaboration between the rejected civilizations had far exceeded their individual capabilities. Earth's quantum communication had merged with Valoran biotech to create living computer systems. Cetan phasing technology combined with Hirani gravitic manipulation had revolutionized propulsion systems. And the Assembly had noticed nothing, focused as they were on maintaining the established order rather than looking for a completely new paradigm. The Assembly session begins tomorrow, Chen reminded them, joining the conversation. Their agenda includes discussion of disturbing resource movement patterns in the outer reaches. They're finally noticing something's happening, just not what or why. President Okafor smiled thinly. Perfect timing, then. Let's make humanity's formal introduction to galactic politics something memorable. The Ascension, humanity's newest flagship, was unlike any vessel previously conceived. Its quantum core, developed through collaboration between Earth scientists and Durrani engineers, allowed it to manipulate space-time in ways the Assembly had deemed theoretically impossible. Its bioneural circuitry, a gift from the Valorans, gave it adaptive capabilities that bordered on sentience. Captain Sophia Chen, daughter of Ambassador Chen, stood on its bridge with justified pride. At 32, she represented the new generation of humanity, born after the rejection, raised within the Ascension Initiative, and utterly committed to the Alliance's vision. All systems operational, reported her XO, Commander Abioy. Alliance vessels confirm ready status. Before them, the massive assembly hub rotated serenely, a sprawling space station where representatives from 300 civilizations governed galactic affairs, or had, until today. Open a channel to all Assembly communication systems, Sophia ordered. Maximum broadcast, all frequencies and methods. The communications officer's fingers danced across the living console. Channel open, Captain. We're bypassing their screening protocols. Now. Sophia straightened her uniform. Attention, Galactic Assembly. This is Captain Sophia Chen of the Alliance vessel Ascension. We request immediate recognition and audience. The response was predictably confused. Multiple voices shouted over each other in the Assembly's main chamber, while security vessels scrambled to identify the source of the unauthorized broadcast. Finally, The Grand Arbiter's voice cut through the chaos. Unidentified vessel, you are violating assembly space and protocols. Withdraw immediately or face defensive measures. With respect, Arbiter, Sophia replied calmly, we are not unidentified. I have stated our identity clearly. We represent the alliance of independent civilizations, including Earth and 16 other worlds previously classified as developing by your assembly. The mention of 17 combined civilizations sent another wave of confusion through the assembly. Security vessels approached the Ascension cautiously, only to halt in confusion as their sensors struggled to comprehend the ship's composition. This is impossible, a Medusan voice declared. Our records show no cooperation between these civilizations. They are separated by vast distances and development restrictions. Your restrictions proved ineffective, Sophia responded, allowing a note of pride into her voice. The alliance has been developing for 10 years, right under your careful observation. The Arbiter himself appeared on the view screen, his scales darkened with agitation. Whatever unauthorized cooperation you've established ends now. Earth was denied assembly membership for good reason. This provocative display only confirms that judgment. Sophia smiled slightly. We're not seeking membership, Arbiter. We're announcing our existence as a sovereign interstellar coalition with technological capabilities that match or exceed the assemblies in several key areas. To demonstrate her point, she nodded to her tactical officer. Throughout the assembly hub, quantum entanglement communicators, secretly placed by Alliance agents over the past years, activated simultaneously. In each delegate's quarters, each secure council room, each restricted archive, holographic displays projected the Alliance Charter. As you can see, Sophia continued, we've been present within your systems for some time. We could have chosen a more aggressive introduction, but that's not our purpose. The assembly security vessels received urgent recall orders as the implications became clear. The Alliance had penetrated the hub's most secure systems effortlessly. What do you want? The Arbiter demanded, his composure fracturing. Recognition, Sophia replied simply. The Alliance claims the right to unrestricted development within our collective territories. We claim equal standing with the Assembly in galactic affairs. This is unprecedented, the Arbiter sputtered. The Assembly has governed interstellar relations for 20,000 years, and perhaps that governance has grown complacent. Sophia suggested, how many civilizations have you classified as developing simply because they approached problems differently than your founding members? How much potential has been deliberately suppressed to maintain stability? The Arbiter had no immediate answer. Around him, delegates from dozens of worlds were already engaged in furious debate. Some, particularly those whose positions depended on the Assembly's technological advantages, demanded immediate military response. Others, those who had long chafed under Assembly restrictions, showed clear interest in this new power. The Alliance does not seek conflict, Sophia assured them, her voice carrying to every corner of the hub. We seek a new paradigm of cooperation. Those civilizations who wish to develop without artificial constraints now have an alternative to Assembly oversight. A new voice entered the conversation. The draconian delegate who had been particularly dismissive during Earth's rejection hearing. You claim peaceful intentions while demonstrating your ability to compromise our most secure systems. That seems contradictory, Captain. Sophia acknowledged him with a nod. A necessary demonstration of our capabilities, Delegate. Had we approached through conventional channels, would this conversation be happening? Before the Draconian could respond, multiple assembly vessels emerged from hyperspace, a show of force meant to intimidate. Commander Abioy tensed. Assembly battle group approaching, Captain. Weapons charging. Sophia remained calm. Activate the phase shield. No offensive measures. The Alliance fleet, 17 vessels of wildly different designs, each incorporating shared technologies, shimmered slightly as their revolutionary defenses engage. The assembly vessels opened fire, only for their energy weapons to pass harmlessly through the Alliance ships, their targeting systems unable to maintain lock-on vessels that existed partially out of phase with normal space. As you can see, Sophia announced to the stunned assembly, conflict would be pointless. We've spent a decade preparing for this moment, not to fight, but to ensure we wouldn't need to. The weapons fire ceased. On the assembly hub, delegates were witnessing something unprecedented in 20 millennia of assembly history. Their military advantage negated completely. The Arbiter, to his credit, recognized the historic crossroads before them. You have our attention, Captain Chen. Perhaps it is time for new discussions. Sophia nodded respectfully. The Alliance appoints Ambassador Helena Vasquez as our representative. She will arrive within the hour to begin negotiations for mutual recognition. As the communication ended, cheers erupted across the Alliance fleet. 10 years of secret development, of midnight engineering sessions and clandestine diplomatic meetings, had culminated in this moment. Message from Admiral Vasquez, reported the communications officer, grinning broadly. She says, "Well done, Captain. The assembly never saw us coming." Sophia smiled, thinking of her father who had stood before the assembly chamber a decade ago, watching Earth's petition for membership being rejected. "Neither rejection nor approval," she murmured. "We made our own way instead." Commander Ebioy joined her at the view screen, where the assembly hub now buzzed with unprecedented activity. "Do you think they'll adapt? Accept the new reality?" "They'll have to," Sophia replied. "The galaxy just changed irrevocably. The assembly can evolve with it, or watch its influence dwindle as more civilizations join our alliance." Outside the view screen, vessels from 17 once rejected civilizations held position in perfect formation, a physical manifestation of humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. The radical notion that cooperation could exist without control, that advancement need not be feared, and that the desire to reach beyond one's grasp was not a flaw to be contained, but a virtue to be celebrated. The assembly had rejected Earth, believing humanity too unpredictable, too ambitious, too innovative for their carefully ordered galactic community. They had been absolutely right.